This next issue could leave some people rather concerned. Academics have unearthed an awfully worrying trend that could be quite significant. Linguistics researcher Professor Paul Baker has found the English are using words such as rather, quite, and awfully less than they once did. Some people may lament the demise of polite British understatement. But could it be a good thing? Increasing globalisation brings huge benefits, and like everything from great British cuisine to the arts and creative industries, the English language is adapting and modernising thanks to influences from overseas. The way we speak has always evolved. It's perfectly natural. New words are invented, old words disappear, and accents change. For businesses, sciences, and literary arts, the changing nature of the English language is a good thing. Innit?
You should have put a back to front baseball cap on when you did the innit. That had made it proper at
like
the end.
Hague.
I can honestly say, apart from a very brief period a few years ago when I went out with, don't ask me how, but I went out with one of Prince William's best friends and I infiltrated the upper classes for a short period of time. Other than that period of time, I've never encountered anyone in my life that would say words like frightfully good or awfully. I don't really know people that talk in that manner. But I'm also someone who doesn't regard myself as having an accent and saying words that some people wouldn't understand either. But I don't really know anyone that would feel concerned about this. Things evolve, words change, interesting words of the year get added to the dictionary each year, and I'm absolutely fine with it.
Well, I'd like to hear what everyone else thinks. I mean, you know, for me, I've got 4 children and teenagers, and the language that they use now, I mean, when they say something is sick, it doesn't mean it's awful, it means it's cool.
It's also very old hat to say sick. Everyone's now saying woke and things like that. I have no idea what
So
woke
vernacular does change and evolve over
it
time.
It's a slow Americanization, isn't it?
Not always.
But look at the... I was just kind of... this was your subject, I was thinking about the words that we use from America now. We use words like cop and movie and stuff like that. But we don't take up some of their other words like trash. They say trash for rubbish, like mom. We still say mom or ma'am.
Or line for Q.
Vacation. We don't say that. We don't say gas. We don't say petrol. We don't say. And I just think we're very choosy about the words we choose from the Americans, aren't we? I think we're particular. But you were mentioning that rather awfully frightfully. I think that gives our language a national character. When I watch a Miss Marple, you know that's how they talk on Miss Marple. You know that's English, and I think that gives a colour around the world.
So there's a charm.
I don't want to lose it entirely.
You're right. There is a charm to it, but on the other hand, I mean, this is Global Entrepreneurship Week, and as somebody who's built a business and you want to encourage British business around the world, sometimes in the past, I don't think we've been bold enough from shouting from the rooftops about how brilliant we are as a nation and how good we are to trade with and you know, so then you say, oh, we're quite good. No, we're very good.
Well, we could say we're frightfully good, couldn't we?
You could say frightfully good. We could say we're awfully good, but no, there's quite the understatement. There's a time for it, but there's also a time to be positive and bold, and for that reason, I'm actually for the change.
I think we should be forever grateful that the Americans chose to speak English, and it was touch and go at one time. It was nearly German, and we should be forever grateful because wherever you go, German. Wherever you go around the world, people now speak English because the Americans speak English, and if it's not our English particularly, so be it. What I always find interesting is, you know, I've got a good London accent, and when I go to America, they think I'm posh.
Yeah. And more intelligent than we are. They automatically add 10 points onto you if you speak.
Well, I think probably some of us need that.
But we've got on our Mac computer, other computers are available. It says, do I want American English or English, doesn't it? Or British English?
Yeah.
Because there is a difference.
Am
I right in thinking, Karen, I love your topic. I mean, to me, our English language is our greatest export and one of our great pleasures of life and living in this country and in many other countries. But I've heard that in India, they do speak proper Queen's English in a way that you don't actually hear it now. Is that true?
Well, English is the language of business in India and around the world. I mean, English is by far the #1 language in the world. Spanish comes a very, very far second.
But in India, they speak Queen's proper English, and it's very frightfully, isn't it?
Well, English is by far the #1 language in the world, and it is a language of business in countries like India. Spanish is way second as the second most spoken language in the world. But I think we should go back to how things have evolved. And we're on Sky News. Let's look at the first Sky News broadcast in 1989 and see the difference.
Good evening. You're watching the World News from Sky Television News on the hour, every hour.
And our first story this evening, 10 Britons have agreed to sell their kidneys for cash to a German count who plans to set up an organ transplant business here.
Comparing today with Sky is not the right comparison. Go back and compare it with the BBC 10 or 20 years earlier, and it sounds incredibly
very,
Those Cathay films,
even in the 60s, which you know was seen as a radical period of change. And actually, the BBC accent.
It's not just the language; it's also accents, isn't it, Karen? Yes. I mean, I've got a thing here. It's a graph here. It says in the 50s, and we're going to see it on screen. The percentage of the country that had accents. There we go. It's the left-hand side. That's the 50s. That was kind of heavy accents. Look to the right now. All accents are being faded. They want me to say a word that demonstrates accent, that demonstrates my accent, the northern accent, and probably yours.
What
butter.
Word? Butter?
Butter, and you say...
Butter.
Butter.
Butter. So, yeah.
But I don't think I've got a northern accent. Though.
You do.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I don't.
you have to accept
You do,
yes, you
Pet.
Just like I have to accept that I've got a bit of an estuary.
Yeah, like if I go back to Hull, like when I'm in Hull, my mates will laugh at me. They think I
They
sound
think
real
you've gone
posh.
And by the way, you've got to say Hull, not Hull.
Say the word
No,
no.
you say Hull.
Say the word no.
No.
Exactly.
If you want to speak Hull, by the way, watch this. This is this guy, this Korean guy who randomly was practicing his Hull.
Hello everyone, this is Billy. Today I'm going to talk about how dialect works. The first one is nithered. Nithered means being cold. Then let's take a look at an example sentence. It's snowing, I'm cold. It's snowing, I'm nithered. Next word is mufted. In Hull, mufted means being hot. Oh no, I'm so hot. Oh no, I'm proper mufted.
See, I don't think I sound like that, and I don't even think he sounds like the Hull.
I don't think he sounds like anybody.
Michelle, I've got a question for you. Say air.
Air? What, as in the
Say
air
hair.
I breathe? Or
Say
hair?
hair.
Hair.
Say lair.
Lair.
Say all three. Air, hair, lair.
Air, hair, lair.
Air, hair, lair.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you've not got me to say snow globe, because that's what people try to get me to say.
No, but what interests me is that the English, so many of the, certainly the London public schools now, I mean, the kids are trying to learn estuary English, basically. They don't want to speak like some of your family might have spoken at some stage.
And yours, Greg.
No, I don't think mine ever spoke.
And you know, the other ironic thing about all this is, to this day, I'm Chancellor of the University of Birmingham, and we have the Shakespeare Institute at Stratford-upon-Avon as part of the university. Shakespeare, 400 years later, the influence that Shakespeare has in the whole world, basically, quoted more than probably anyone else. And look at that Shakespeare in English, how different it is to the English today, but we still quote from it, we still refer to it.
Well, Rachel does. I like it when you randomly drop in random Latin words sometimes. And I sit here and I'm thinking, I've got no idea what she just said, but I smile and nod as though I know what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, I agree.
Well, we need to have some educated people here, don't we?
Yes, it's true.
I did almost pick you up on saying the Hippocratic Oath was the hypocritical oath, which I thought was even better.
I knew I was in trouble with that when I started.
Dear me.